Hello, I'm Ila Sharavinsky, and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air, we've got you covered. And as always, we begin this episode with the latest update from the front lines in Ukraine. The Russian and Ukrainian forces continue offensive operations along the Światowe-Kreminna line. Ukrainian sources have reported Ukrainian troops fighting near the town of Kreminna. Moscow sources, meanwhile, claim limited Russian gains northeast of Bakhmut. Russian forces continue ground attacks on the western outskirts of Donetsk. The Ukrainian military has indicated that Moscow may be concentrating unspecified forces to mount an offensive in the Zaporizhia region, and that Russian units are trying to conduct small-scale force reconnaissance to reach the eastern perimeter of the Kherson region. So now, our update done with, we're moving on to our next story. And the city of Bakhmut in the Donetsk region has been the target of Russian offensives for a long time. Russians have unsuccessfully tried to capture it for months. And the city is holding on heroically despite repeated Russian efforts to push the defenders out. Now, these are the words of the Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar. And although it saw intense street fighting just a few weeks back, Bakhmut is now back under Ukrainian control.
На два? Це наші наступлення йдуть. А я? Благодаря всім пасанчикам всім. Да. Хочешь что сказать, Серый? Хочешь что сказать? Ты ёп, ты пидорас, сука.
Чтоб расы не прошли.
Да. Все, хотелся, задержал.
And I gotta admit, the battlefield selfie really made me smile. Hopefully these boys will soon return home after the war is over, after the Russian troops are pushed out of Ukraine, and they will be able to play it back and think about these times as a moment of course, dramatic, intense struggle, but also one that was definitely worth it. Now, let's move on to the AGS-17 Plamia, or Flame, automatic grenade launcher. Now, this weapon was designed to wipe out enemy troops' equipment and vehicles, which often remain behind cover, for example, in open trenches, ravines, or covered slopes. Now, the firing mechanism allows for single or continuous fire at two rates, high with 350 to 400 rounds per minute and low with 50 to 100 rounds per minute. Needless to say, it is an effective weapon, and in the right hands, it can truly turn the tides of skirmishes taking place on the battlefield.
Бачиш?
Ні.
Не бачиш?
Не знаю.
Що за?
The Russians have been driven back from Bakhmut and are now attacking positions close to the town itself. The nearby village of Opytne saw particularly heavy fighting with soldiers from the 53rd Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces capturing and clearing trenches held by mercenaries from the Wagner Group. Let's take a look.
По русскому оккупанту!
Вот они. Наколка. Ёб твою мать. Руна или что у него?
Слышь, что там?
Certainly not a good day for the Wagner Group. However, I don't think anyone will shed a tear for these guys. They have been conducting war crimes not just in Ukraine, but also in many African countries. They are there for the Kremlin for plausible deniability, essentially doing Putin's dirty work. Not the good guys, I'm afraid. Now, moving on, and the city of Bakhmut and the surrounding area have been under nearly constant heavy artillery fire for months now. Yet, despite shells and missiles falling from the skies, volunteers have not stopped their efforts to evacuate the most vulnerable citizens, the most vulnerable people still residing in Bakhmut itself and in nearby villages.
Наші медики надають допомогу місцевим, які постраждали під час прильоту.
Ой, мне же надо мужа как-то забрать.
Зараз ми вас маємо забрати.
Вы тоже врач, да? Уколите меня. Что с рукой? О! Артерия хоть целая?
Все, ніжки клади.
Я не могу больше. Ой, больно.
Кінцівки, нижня, ліва стегно, на поясні. Да.
И документы?
Кульочок з документами був десь. Пакет є?
В неї під ногою.
Під ногою. Да, є. Все є.
Я не хочу. Нога.
Чия?
Його. Руки.
Все? Евакуація Бахмут. 700 метрів від нас орки продвигаються ще вчора. Зараз не знаємо наскільки. Вони евакуюємо.
Якби ручки довше, так?
Ну, чуть-чуть. Давай, чуть-чуть залишилось. Я думаю, що тут треба вже нести.
Доброго дня. Або давай беремо носілку.
Ні, я вже винесу так буде швидше.
Тільки подержи, под руку. Раз, два, три.
Вибач уже.
Точно?
Да? Давай. Давай,
З тобою йти?
Да.
Просто страхувати, потім вернемося по це, так?
Да.
Чи беру коляску?
Бери коляску. Я просто ногу намочив повністю.
Да.
Раз, два.
Так, за шию мене бери.
Бери його за шию, не мене. Опа. Нога, муха. Ти візьмеш?
Бери мене за шию.
And on that note, we end this episode. Catch us at the same time tomorrow as we continue bringing you more latest tactical updates here on Military Mind.